Alright, I need someone to explain something to me. Because Konami dropped a new Showtime Gianluigi Donnarumma in eFootball, and somehow, he might actually be worse than his old version. Now wait, that sounds crazy at first. Because when you hear new Showtime card, you're expecting an upgrade. You're expecting something broken. You're expecting something that replaces the old version instantly. But this time, that's not what happened. And if you actually look closely at the stats, you'll start to understand why a lot of players are confused right now. First, let's talk about the old Donnarumma, because this card was already one of the most solid goalkeepers in the game, 107 rated, attacking goalkeeper playstyle. And most importantly, he had balance across every key GK stat. We're talking about 100 GK awareness. That alone already tells you something. Because awareness is what decides positioning. It decides reactions. It decides whether your goalkeeper makes that clutch save or just stands there. And this Donnarumma, he was always in the right place. Then you look at his GK reflexes, 96. That's elite. That means close range shots, rebounds, quick reactions. He's saving those. Then you add GK parrying, 94, and GK reach, 96. So not only is he reacting quickly, he's also covering a lot of space. And don't forget, he's 196 centimeters tall. That height combined with reach, that's already a nightmare for attackers. And then there's jump, 87, which is actually very important because jumping helps with high shots, corners, and those awkward angles. So when you combine everything, old Donnarumma wasn't flashy. He wasn't overhyped, but he was reliable. And in eFootball, that's exactly what you want from a goalkeeper. Now let's move to the new Showtime Donnarumma, 106 rated, still an attacking goalkeeper. And at first glance, it looks like an upgrade. You see GK reflexes, 99. That's insane. You see GK parrying, 96. Also very strong. You see GK reach, 97. Even better than before. So you might be thinking, wait, this is better. But this is where things start to get tricky, because once you look deeper, you realize something. This card is not as balanced as the old one. Let's start with the most important drop. Jump, 79. From 87 down to 79. That's not a small downgrade. That's a big one. And a lot of people underestimate jumping for goalkeepers. But it matters, especially in situations where the ball is going top corner or when dealing with crosses. That lower jump means he might not reach balls that the old version could easily save. Then we look at GK awareness, 99. Now yes, 99 is still very high, but the old version had 100. And again, that might look like a small difference, but in-game, that 1 point can actually affect consistency because awareness is what makes a goalkeeper feel automatic. The old version had that perfect positioning. Now, let's be fair, the new Donnarumma does improve in some areas. GK catching, 93, up from 90. GK reflexes, 99, up from 96. GK parrying, 96, up from 94. So yes, when it comes to shot-stopping reactions, the new version is slightly better. But here's the problem. Goalkeeping is not just about reflexes, it's about consistency. And consistency comes from balance. The old version had no real weakness. The new version has a clear one, and that's the drop and jump. Now let's talk about the one thing that's supposed to make this new card special. His player skill, GK Spirit Roar. And this is where things get even more confusing, because this is supposed to be the selling point of the card. The reason you would choose him over the old version. But the question is, what does it actually do? And more importantly, does it improve his goalkeeping? The honest answer? Not really. Spirit Roar sounds cool. It sounds like something powerful. But in reality, it doesn't directly boost the core goalkeeping stats that matter. It doesn't improve awareness. It doesn't improve reach. It doesn't fix the jump issue. It doesn't make him more consistent. So what you're left with is this: a goalkeeper with slightly better reflex stats, but worse overall balance, and a special skill that doesn't actually fix his weaknesses. And this is where the problem is. Because when you compare both versions side by side, you start asking a very simple question. Why would you upgrade? If you already have the old Donnarumma, you're not gaining anything significant. In fact, you might actually be losing reliability, and that's dangerous. So the real question is the new Showtime Donnarumma bad? No, he's still a top-tier goalkeeper. But is he better than the old version? Honestly, no. Because when it comes to goalkeepers, consistency will always beat small upgrades. And right now, the old Donnarumma is still the more reliable option. So if you were planning to go all in for this new card, you might want to think twice because sometimes new doesn't always mean better.